Dear students, welcome to the third unit of the subject entitled queuing models. Queuing models are very important to model or manage queues in different situations. We are going to have an example of managing queues in the bank. When a customer arrives at the bank, they are not immediately served. So they have to wait. You will serve some customer while others will be waiting in a queue. So you as a bank manager or analyst, you can analyze your system to make sure that it is working properly. So if you are having a bad service, it means that your customer number will decrease, because they will leave you and they go to other organization which provides better services to them. So one of the service performance checking is the checking of queues. If the customer waits too long to get served, to be served, it will be a problem for you, because they will leave you. So before implementing or before implanting a new organization, you have also to think about a queue. So to manage queue, you have to have a queuing models. So this will help you analyze the performance of your system. So you can manage queuing models using simulation. So simulation will be frequently used in analysis of queuing models. You can use simulation either using a computer, or you can analyze it mathematically. Here we are going to simulate queuing models using mathematics. So in a typical queuing model, so customer will arrive from time to time and join a queue. So the queue is called waiting line. So they are eventually served and later leave the system. So they enter into the queue and then serve, and they are served. They go out of the queue and go to the counter or to the server, and the server will give them service. After getting the service, they have to leave the system. So here we are going to have the calling population. The calling population means that all the customer, for example, or the bank customers. So the calling population is coming. You don't know which time they are coming. So when they come, they enter into the queue, which is called waiting line. After entering the queue, they will go one by one according to the server available. If you have 3 servers, it means 3 people can go at the same time. If you have 1 server, only 1 customer is able to leave the queue and join and go to the counter. So when he goes to the counter, he will get the service. After getting the service, he will leave. So this is an example of a simple queuing model, this one. So we can have the queuing model provide a powerful tool for designing. It can be used to design and evaluate the performance of queuing system or your system. Your system can be bank or any other system. So the system performance may be measured with the help of server utilization. You can check the performance of the system using server utilization. It means that if the server is 100% utilized, it is very good. Or if the server is working, how it is working very quickly, it is giving services very quickly to the customer, it is very good. We can also see the length of waiting line. If you are having a very big waiting line, this is a very big problem, because the customer at the end of the queue will be served after a long time, so he will be very tired. So it is a problem. So you can measure the performance of the system using server utilization, the length of waiting line or delays of customer. How the customer are delaying in the queue. If it is taking a long time for a customer to leave the queue, it is a very big problem. So the analyst, you as analyst, you have a trade-off to the measure to take a proper decision according to the situation. If there is a bad situation, you are as an analyst, you have to take some more measure in order that to take a very good decision, so that the customer will get next service. So the queue inventory and simulation analysis are used to predict the measure of system performance as a function of input parameter. So queue inventory and simulation are used to predict in advance the measure which can be taken according to the results of the system performance. So the input parameters may be, what are the input parameters? The input parameters means that these are the parameters which will be used to evaluate the performance of the system. It can be server utilization, the length of waiting line, and the delays. So this input parameter can be this or can be this one. So the input parameter will be, for example, here will be arrival rate of customer. Here, arrival rate of customer. We will see what is the arrival rate, and the service demand of customer. Service demand of customer. Different type of service can be demanded by customer. We will see, or the rate at which the server works. If it is very slow, if it is very medium or very high, so you can check it. Or the number of arrangement of service of servers, how the server are arranged, or how many numbers. If you are having one server serving 1,000 people, it will be a very big problem. So you have to use the search parameter to measure the performance of the system. So if you see that one of those parameters they feel that something is not going on well, so you have to take measures and take some decision to increase the performance of the system. Let's see the characteristic of queuing system. What are the properties of such system? Major components of queuing system are the customer and servers. This is the major component or entities of the queuing system. These are customers and the server. The term customer, what do we mean by customer? By customer, we mean that the customer can be person, people, it can be machines. If you take a laptop to the service center, so your machine becomes a customer. It can be a truck, a car, a mechanics, a patient, pilots, airplane. This can be also emails. This is a customer. So the customer is not only a human being. Anything can be a customer which requires service. So it can be also any order. So it is anything that arrives at a facility and requires services. This is what we call a customer. So the term server may refer to the dishonest. Dishonest, it means that a person who will receive customers at a company, or it can be a repair person, a mechanic, it can be a medical personnel, retriever machine like crans, runways at the airport, order picker, CPU of computer because it provides services, or washing machine and so on. So any resource that provides this service is called a server. In general, we say that the customer goes to a service facility. So the customer will go to the service facility. This is in normal way. the customer will go to the service facility. But there may be some exception where a server will go to the customer to give him or her service. For example, a plumber or an electrician will come to your home to give you service. So you, your customer, he is the server. So what are the various elements of a queuing system? What are the various elements? The first one is the calling population. The calling population, as we said, it is a set of customers you are having, potential customers. It means that all customers for the bank, if Bank of Kigali has 1 million customers, so all those customers are called calling population. It may be finite or infinite. Can it be finite or infinite? For example, the computer at a small company are a customer and can be treated as a finite population. Because, for example, in a small company, we have a limited number of computers. So if it has a limited number of computer, this is called it will be called finite number of customers. So this population is finite. Or the technicians would solve the problem of this computer. If you have having a small computer, they need service. So the technicians who will solve the problem of this computer will be called server. This is an example. So people arriving at a bank or a hotel can be considered as infinite calling population. People arriving at a bank, you can call them that they are infinite calling population. Why do we say infinite? Because we don't know how many people will come today. So this is infinite. Because we don't know exact count of people visiting every day. This is the truth. So the major difference between infinite and infinite population model is how the arrival rate is defined. The main difference between infinite and infinite, it is how the arrival, how people are coming. So how it means that how many people are coming per hour. In the morning, people coming per hour, the number is very low. But at the midi, it will be at high. Afternoon, also the rate will drop. Arrival rate is average number of arrivals per unit of time. It means that I am receiving 20 people are coming per hour. So this is the arrival rate. So in an infinite population model, the arrival rate is not affected by the number of customers who have left the calling population and joined the queue of the system. In an infinite population model, because we have an infinite customers, so people who are leaving the queue and who is coming to the bank do not affect the arrival rate, because this is infinite. So there is no, it doesn't affect, because there are so many customers. When the arrival process is homogeneous over time, it means that arrival process is almost the same. That is, if there are no rush hours, there is no hours where some customer will come in a big number. The arrival time is assumed to be constant. It means that if it is homogeneous, it is no rush hours, so the arrival time will be the same, constant. But on the other hand, for finite calling population, the arrival time will depend on the number of customers. Because it is a finite population, the arrival time will depend on the number of the customers. Because we have a limited number of population. For example, we assume that there are 5 patients who have to be attended by one nurse. We're having one nurse who has to give service to 5 patients. So, when all patients are sleeping, taking rest or sleeping, or they are not active, so the nurse who is the server is idle. He is idle because he is not working. But in the next moment, the nurse may get a call from all the 5 patients. Suddenly, all 5 patients can call the nurse, and they need the service at the same time. So, at that time she will attend only one at a time. She won't give a service to all of them at the same time. So she will have a service one by one. So now, the first patient is being served. So the remaining 4 patients will be in a waiting queue. So the arrival rate is maximum when the server is idle. When the server is idle, the maximum rate has been reached. The arrival rate which is maximum is maximum when the server is idle, because the expectation for number of calls in the very next moment will be high. Because when you are idle, to that the next time you will have a lot of work to do. So we can have also the system capacity. In many queuing system, there is a limit of a number of customers that can be in a waiting line. In many queuing system, we can have a limit of the number of customers that can be in a waiting line. So we can have a limit. So if you have a limit, it means that the number of customers is limited or finite. So here, for example, we have in a car wash center, there may be a place for 10 cars. In a car washing center, we can have also only a place where for parking those cars, and which has a place of 10 cars only at a time. So when the 10 cars are waiting for their turn, another car may come for getting the service. When they are still waiting and the queue is full, another car may be coming. But because there is no place, it will go back. It will go back because there is no place left for it. So it has to go back. So in that time we say that it has entered in the calling population again, because it is still out of the queuing system. So when the system has limited the capacity, it means that the capacity of the system is 10 cars. A distinction is made between the arrival rate, the number of arrival per time unit, and the effective arrival rate, the number of who arrive and enter the system per time unit. It means that when we have a limited capacity, there will be a difference between the number of arrival per time unit. The number of arrival per time unit means that all people coming in 1 hour. So those are people. Yeah, some people will immediately will enter into the queue. Others will go back because there is no place for them, because the queue is full. And the effective, it means that this is the number of people who arrive immediately, and they will enter into the system, into the queue, because there is still place. So this effective arrival rate and arrival rate is different. This is the number of people coming, but some people will go out because there is no place for them. And the effective means that the people will come and they find that the queue, there is some empty space in the queue, so they immediately enter into the system. The arrival process. What is the arrival process? The arrival process for infinite population model is characterized in terms of internal arrival time of successive custom. So the arrival process of infinite population will be characterized by entire arrival. It means that this is the arrival between 2 people, 2 or 3 people. So it means that the time between the arrival of the first person and the second one. So the arrival process for infinite population will be characterized into the entire arrival time between 2 customers. Successive means that 2 customers, the first customer and the second one, the time between the the second customer came into the system minus the time the first customer came into the system. This is called arrival time. So this is we characterize the arrival process. So arrival may occur at scheduled times or at random time. They can come at known time. You say that the people have to come after 30 minutes. So in that time, people have to come at 9 o'clock. The second one has to come at 9:30. The next one 10 o'clock, like that. At random times they come anytime. There is no precise time, so they can come randomly. When it is random, the interval times are characterized by probability distribution. When it is random, interval time will be characterized by probability. It means that when we are having a randomness, immediately the probability distribution must be used. Why? Because the probability, the value will be it is an expectation or a prediction. So we don't know exactly the value. So we will use approximation. Moreover, the customers may arrive one at a time or in batches. Customer can come one at a time, one by one. It is okay, one by one, or they can come in batches. In batches, it means by groups. Also, by groups and not at the same time. Also, the batch size may be constant or random. You can say they come by a group of 10 people. If it is 10 people, it means that batch size is constant. If it is, if they can change 10 people, 5 people, 15, it is random. So, if AN represents the interval time between n minus 1 customer and n customer, then AN is exponentially distributed with mean 1 out of 4 lambda time units. It means that if AN, for example, we say if A5, it means that it represents the interval between the, because n is 5, it means that n minus 1, it means the 4th customer and the 5th customer. So the interval between the 4th customer and the 5th customer is A5. So then A5 will be exponentially distributed with the mean of 1 divided by lambda time units, like this. So here the arrival rate lambda is the number of customer per time unit. It means that it is the number of customers who arrive there per time unit. It means, for example, lambda can be, for example, 10. So this is 10 is the number of customers who came per 1 hour. This one. The number of arrivals in time interval of length t, say any t has the Poisson distribution with the mean lambda t customer. The number of arrival in a time interval of length t. So the number of customer coming in a time interval of length t, say any t. For example, the number of customer coming in 1 hour of length t, it means that, for example, in a time of length t, it means 1 hour or 60 minutes, you can say that any t or any 60 must have a Poisson distribution with lambda t customers. It means we are having a lambda t customer. So to calculate the length of the arrival rate, we have to use the number of arrival in a time interval of such time. So we can have also the queue behavior and the queue discipline. The queue behavior refers to the action of customer while in a queue waiting for service to begin. The behavior, it means that it is the behavior of the customer, how they behave or the action they take or they do while they are in a queue. What the customer can do? they can bulk. But it means that they leave the queue when they see that the queue line is too long. So you can have, for example, a queue for 50 people. So you are at the end of the queue. This is a very big problem. He can leave. So this is his behavior is bulk because he is going to leave the queue. Renege, it means you leave after being in the line when they see that the line is moving too slowly. You can leave also when the line is moving too slowly. It means that the service time is bigger, so people are decreasing the queue very slowly. So some people will go. And the jockey, it means that you will leave one line and you go to another. For example, you are having a line of 10 people, so you will leave this line of 10 people and you go to the line having 6 people. So if they think that they have chosen a slow line, or also they can move from one line to another according to many reasons. For example, here they can go from one line to another line if they chose the slow line. The line they are standing in is decreasing slowly, so it can change. Queue discipline refers to the logical ordering of customer in a queue and determines which customer will be chosen next for the service. Queue discipline, it is a logical ordering of customer. How you will order the customer into the queue and how you arrange them. This arrangement, how you arrange them, it automatically reveal how those customers will be served. So the discipline are many. You can have first in and first out. First in and first out, it means that who came first will go out first. It means you will first serve the one who came first, and then after being served he will go out first. Last chain here, you are going to serve the last one who came will be served first. Service in random order means that you can give service to anyone. So in random order you can choose anyone by randomly. So anyone can get service randomly, no problem. Shortest processing time first means that the one who require small service or whose service processing will take less time, so you can start from him. And then the last one will be the one who have service who require a long time or very tough one. So we can have also service according to priority. We can give service to people according to the priority. Priority, for example, here the minister is coming at your bank. If you see that the minister is coming, so you will give him a priority because he is the boss. So this is a service according to the priority. Service times and the service mechanism. Can have service times and the service mechanism. It means that how many times the service will take, so that the customer will leave the counter. And the service mechanism is how the service will be done. So the service time of successive arrivals are denoted by S1, S2, S3. Service time means that the service of the first customer, the second customer, the service time of the third customer. So this can be, for example, 1 hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, like that. And they may be of constant or random duration. Here, it can be constant or random duration. This can be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or you can say 1 hour, 20 minutes, 40. This is random duration. If they are random, the set S1, S2, S3 is usually characterized by a sequence of independent and identical distributed random variable. So if they are random, it means that This set will be characterized by a sequence of independent and identically distributed random variable. So we use random, but those variable must be independent, because the direction of this one is independent from the direction of this service. So it is different. So a queuing system will consist of a number of service center. A queuing system consists of a number of service center. We are having different service center, for example 3 or 5. So the queuing system will consist of service center. It means where the customer, where the servers are sitting or located. For example, at your bank, if you have a bank for 5 counters, so the service center is 5 counters, and interconnecting queue. So and then each service will have the queue in front of it. So each service center will consist of some number of servers, but each service center will have a number of servers. For example, each center can have one service center can have 2 servers like that. So those servers will be named as C. Working in the parallel. It means that they will work in parallel. So parallel service mechanism are either single server. It can be a single server. You can have a single server who is servicing multiple people. You can also have a multiple servers. It means that the server are less than infinite and it must be greater than 1. So because they are multiple. You can have an unlimited server. It means that you have an infinite number of servers. So C will be equal to infinite. A self-service facility is usually characterized as having an unlimited number of servers. If you are having a self-service where people can serve themselves, for example, in the food shop. So here we are going to say unlimited number of servers, even if we don't have it, they are not there. So research time, those customers will become like server because they will serve themselves. So we have an unlimited number of servers. So we can have also queuing notation. How we can notate the queuing model. The queuing system is denoted in the format, A, B, C, N, K. What is the meaning of this? I can say A is inter-arrival time distribution. This is inter-arrival. It means that inter-arrival between 2 customers or 3 customers. B, this is the service time distribution. C will be small. C will be the number of power server. It means that this is inter-arrival of the customer. This is the service time of those customer. This is the number of the server who are there. N is the system capacity if it can hold 10 cards. This is N. K is the size of the calling population. It means the total number of the customer who can come to at the bank at any time. So this is K. So here A can and B can be one, can have or can be represented by any of the different symbols. A and B. You can use A, you can be represented by M when you use Markov or exponential distribution. Or it can be to show that it is constant or deterministic. It is not a dynamic or variable. Here we can use EK. This is where we use a rank of order K. So in mathematics. PH, it can be used as phase type. This can be used for hyper exponential distribution. And the G general or arbitrary. And the general independent. So the most important one is this one, Markov or exponential here. This one. So A can be replaced by M when we are using exponential distribution. Let's see an example. The notation M1 infinity. indicates that we are having a single server, this one, single server system that has unlimited queue capacity, which has unlimited queue capacity. This is infinite and infinite population and infinite population here. So the entire arrival and service time are exponential distributed. That is why we put M here and M here. So it means that entire arrival time is exponential distributed. That is M. And the service time, it is exponential distributed. That is M. It means that this is entire arrival time. This is service time. This is the number of server. And here we are having one server, and here we are having that we are having unlimited queue capacity, and here infinite population. So here they say the inter-arrival time and the service time are exponentially distributed. So here when N and K are infinite, they can be dropped from the notation. So instead of putting an infinite, we can drop this infinite, and then it can be written like this: y. This one. This is the same as writing this one, same. But this is a short meaning, so better use this one. If I see this notation, immediately I will know that we are having an infinite capacity and calling population here. Another example, one nurse attending 5 patients in the hospital. You can represent it: one nurse attending 5 patients. 5 patients. It means that 5 patients, and here with the capacity, it means that I in the case of single server that has a limited queue capacity. Unlimited queue capacity. Here I'm having 5 patients. What is the queue there? The queue for this patient is 5, because only 5 patients can go to the nurse. So she can serve only 5. So I'm having queue size of 5. Its population also is 5 here. And we are using exponential distribution for enter, arrival, and service time here. So we can have an example, simulation example of queuing. You're going to see how you can simulate your queuing system. For example, you are an analyst of the bank, and you have to study in deep about the bank, it's working. So one of things you have to study about is about the queuing system, because this is very important in the bank. So you are going to study the queuing system using mathematics. So we are going to simulate. You can simulate it using your sheet of paper, no problem. So here we initially discuss the component of queuing system. So in the queuing system, when you are studying the queuing system, you have to know the components of this type of system. So the queuing system can say it is a queuing or waiting line model. So then 2 dynamic event-based model and a single server queue discussed. So here we are going to see the component of queuing system and the single server queue example. So we are going to see how you can simulate this type of system. So first we are going to see what is about waiting line models. This is the queuing models. So the queuing system is described in few attributes. So the queuing system is described or characterized by different attributes. The first one is calling population, we know it. The nature of arrival and the service mechanism, system capacity, and the queuing discipline. Calling population, the number for all customer of the bank. The nature of arrival, how the customer are coming. Are they coming one by one, or they coming in the batch or randomly? The service mechanism, what is the mechanism that you choose to give the service? If you use the RIFO or the FIFO, or other mechanism, you have to specify it. So what is the system, the capacity? If you are having a very short area where the customer may be waiting, so this is, you have to study about the system capacity, and you're going to see how you will perform the queuing system discipline. How customer will be going into the queue, into the line. How they will be, how will they be sitting in the line? How you have to specify all of this. The member of the calling population may be the member of calling population may be the customer, yes, people. This may be also telephone calls. This is the customer also, because when you are calling, you are waiting for the service. This is the call is the customer also. So, but here, even if we say customers, we saw that the customer can be people, they can be computer or anything else. So all of this will be called units, but there may be some assumption. How? It means that assumption means that this is not exact. There can be approximation or assumption, but this is almost real. How? Calling population is finite. Why? Because people can have so many customers. For example, you are saying if you have a stock, you are a seller in a grocery. You don't know your customer. Anyone can be your customer. The main thing is that he has the money and he wants to purchase, so it will be finite. The system capacity also can be infinite sometimes, and arrival process is random with a certain probability distribution. Arrival process is random. You know it because you don't know, you can't expect it, or you can't predict it in advance and say that how many people will come at 10 o'clock. You don't know. So that is why it is random. Queuing system is FIFO. By default it is FIFO because the one who came first has to be served first. So almost our system will use a FIFO. Service time are random also because you don't know which time the customer will spend at the counter, for example. So that is why it is random, and you are going to use the probability also. Arrival rate is less than the service rate. Arrival rate must be less than the service rate. Otherwise, if the arrival rate is greater than the service rate, it means that the queue will continue growing without limit, because the people arriving are many, while people being served are very few. So it will be a problem. So what are the terminologies we can use? We can have entities. Entities, these are the main characters of the queuing system. The main characters of the queuing system is the customer and the server. What are the attributes? The attributes is the arrival time, the time of arrival of customers, or the time spent in the queue, the service time, or the status, or for the status of server, and so on. There may be also activities means that the activities of the customer. The customer can have activities for waiting in a queue, while the server can have activity of serving or providing service. State. The state, it means that either X number of customers in the queue or Y status of the server. State, it means that either X, the number of customers in the queue, this is the state. The state of our queue is the number of customers in the queue at a specified time. Or Y, it can be the status of the server. 0, it can be idle, or 1, it can be busy, or giving a service. Event, there can be arrival event, arrival of customer. This is an event of arrival. Departure event means that when the customer are leaving. When a departure event occurs, it means when there is customer leaving the system, the simulation will proceed in the manner as shown here in the following figure. We have in flow diagram of departure event. Departure event, a customer leaves the system. So here you will ask yourself as the server, another unit waiting or another customer waiting. If he is waiting, you remove him from the queue and you begin servicing him. To that, one customer number 1 is gone. You ask yourself, is there another customer in the queue? You call him, then he comes. You remove him from the queue because he is leaving the queue and is coming to the counter, and you give him service. After that, if you remove him from the waiting unit from the queue, this man, you tell him you come. So he will leave the queue, he will come and you start serving him. If there is no other party waiting, it means that the server will start the idle time. Idle time means that the server will not be working. When a new customer arrives here, this is the opposite, means that we will ask ourselves, the server is busy. If it is busy, if the server is busy, it means that the customer immediately will enter into the queue because he can't go to the counter while the server is serving another party. If the server is not busy, it means that it is idle. So immediately he won't go into the queue. He will immediately go to the counter and be served immediately. So now we are going to see an example of a queuing system where we are having a single server. So we can also have a multiple server, but if you know about a single server, the multiple server will be the same process of single server, but you have to perform it multiple times. So here we discuss a single server queue using an example, and we are going to compute some performance measure like average waiting time of a customer, idle time of a server, and so on. For example, here you are going to go to a grocery. Before managing this grocery, so you have to think about so many parameters so that the customer will be satisfied. So here we can have a small grocery having, for example, a single server who will serve all the customer. So how we can calculate the average waiting time of the customer, idle time of the server, and so on. So you can see that you can, using these parameters, you can reveal that the average waiting time of a customer is too long. Why? Because you are having only one customer. So you say that as it is too long, the customer will be tired. So maybe they will go to other stores. So you can increase the customer, the server number. You can say that you increase, you put it in another server, so the total number of servers is 2. So in that time, the average waiting time will be less, for example. So let's have an example. A small grocery store has one checkout counter. So we are having only one counter. A small grocery is having one counter. So the customer arrive at a checkout counter at random times that range from 1 to 80 minutes apart. It means the customer will come the arrival between customers is ranging between 1 to 8 minutes apart. It means that the first customer can come at 9 and the second customer will come in minutes ranging between 1 and 8. For example, the second customer can come after 2 minutes or 8 minutes or 7 minutes. So we assume that the entry arrival time are integer valued with each of the 8 values having equal probability. So those values have equal probabilities. So it means as they have equal probabilities, it means that they follow uniform distribution. So the service times will vary between 1 to 6 minutes. Here we are having a service time from 1 to 8. No, the arrival 1 to 8. But the service time will be from 1 to 6. It means that the first customer can be served in 2 minutes. The second customer in 6 minutes. The third customer in 4, and so on. So, with the probability given in the following table, what is the probability we are having? We are having service time in minutes. It will start from 1 till 6. So, what is the probability that the customer will be served in 1 minute? The probability that the customer will be served in 1 minute, it is 1010. So the probability that the customer will be served in 6 minutes, it means that it is 0.05. So what is the probability? The higher probability is this, 0.3. It is the probability that the customer will be served in 3 minutes here. So they say that you simulate the system for 10 customers and compute waiting. Here we simulate the system for 10 customers. For 10 customers, the total number of customers is 10. And then compute the waiting time for the customers. We have to compute the waiting time. The waiting time of customers is that the time they will be waiting in the queue. And also the total time spent by customer in the system. Total time, it means that I came 9:30, I go to the queue. In the queue, the customer stays in the queue 30 minutes, it is 9:30, and then he is served in 10 minutes, it means that he will leave the system at 9:40, like this. So the total time spent the customer in the system, it means that total time spent by the customer, it means that it is the time spent in the queue plus the time of the service. The idle time of the server, it is when there is no customer in the queue. So this is the idle time. So the total idle time of the server. So the random number of enter arrival time, the random number of enter arrival time, it means that this customer, the first customer, comes at 0 here, at 0. The second customer comes at will come and the value of the second customer is this one, the third one, and the last one. The random number of service time, it means that this is the first customer, it is for 84 minutes here. Here we are having 10 minutes. The last one is 38 minutes. So, what is the solution? The step 1. It is given that the customers arrive in the random time ranging between 1 and 8 minutes apart. It means that they have equal probability. So, the probability of arrival time will be, the probability of arrival time will be equal to, will be equal to 1 out of 8. It means that it is the probability of the interval between the customer. It means that it is the probability of 1 customer out of 8. So it will be this one. It will be 1 divided by 8. It will be 0.125. So the cumulative probability will be computed in the column 3 of the table 4.1. The range of random number are listed based on the respective cumulative probabilities. So the cumulative probability we are going to compute the cumulative, which will be the sum of all probabilities which are in the column 3. So will be the sum will be in column 3 of the next table. Let's check. So here they say 4 1. Okay, no problem. If it is 4, here it is 3. Table 4, this one. Table 4 is this one. So can I adjust it? So we are having the arrival time in minutes. It is ranging from 1 to 80. The probability, as we saw, it is 0.125 for each customer. So the cumulative means I will take this for the first customer. It is the cumulative probability for the first customer. It is only this one. So because the cumulative, it is the summation. What I have to do, I have to take this the probability of the first customer plus the probability for the second customer. I'm going to have the cumulative of 2 customers. So I will take this plus this. It will be this value. You take this value, add this, I find this, and finally you take this plus this. I will get 1 like this. So it is almost like doing this, adding all of them like this. So the last value will be 1. Then I can have the range of random numbers. It means that the range of these probabilities, I can calculate the range of the random number according to these cumulative probabilities. So random number has to be integers. As they have to be integers, I have to remove what I have to remove. I don't want to use the real numbers, so I have to multiply by 1000. If I multiply by 1000, I will have this here. I will have 125. If I multiply by 1000 here, I am going to have 1000. So what will be the range? It will be 0 for the first customer. The range will be 0 to 125. So from the second one, the range of this one, it will be, I will start from 126. This is in the range to 126 because the 126 is the next value for this one till 250. I continue. This will range from 876 till 1000. So instead of putting 1, you can put a 00, no problem here, because this is the very last value. This is like 1000. So what is step 2 in solving this problem? We are going. This is about arrival time. This is arrival time. The second one, this is the second step. We are going to try to solve the problem of service time in the respective probabilities. Compute the cumulative probability and also the range of random numbers. I am having service time in minutes. Here I am having service time. This is the column number here. Service time. I am having a service time ranging from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, T, 6. The probability will be. The probability also has been given here. here the probability has been given in advance. So the probability is this one, so we copy them here. This is the probability. This is the probability of getting service in one service. This is the probability of getting service in 5 minutes. The cumulative probability is the same. I take the first customer, it is this one. For the second customer, we take this plus this. So I take this plus this, I get 0.30. So for the third customer, it will be 0.30 plus 0.30, I get 0.60. So for the last one, it will be 0.95 plus 0.05, it will be 1, like this. So the range, I have to remove, I don't have to use a real number, so I have to multiply by 100. If you multiply 100 here, I will get 10 here. I will get 10. So this is the range from 0 to 10 for the first customer. For the second customer is 11. I take from 11 till 30. The last one will be 96. It means the next of 95, 96 till 1. Here. So this is not 1, it is 100, like this. This is the range of the service time, the probabilities. So what will be the step 3? We are going to compute the entire arrival time for each customer. Has the following procedure. So we have to compute the entire arrival time for each customer. So the entire arrival time for the first customer is 0. So what we check? We are going to check here. Enter arrival of the customer. The arrival for the customer is, let's check. So the entire arrival for the first customer is 0. Let's check here. Is 0 here. The entire arrival of the first customer is 0 here. Here it is 0. It is 0 here. Then take the first random number of 3 digits in this example given, and we take the first random number of 3 digits in this example given and compare it to column 4 of table 4.1 and identify the appropriate row. We take the first number of 3 digits in this example. We are going to compare it to column 4 in table 4.1 and identify the appropriate row. So the value in that row in column 1 of table 4.1 will be the entire arrival time of the second customer. It means, let's have an example. The first random number is 913. When 913, the first number is here. The random number of enter arrival, we are going to calculate the enter arrival. So the first enter arrival value is 913. So what is the process? Let's go again down. Then we are going to do what? We are going to compare 193. 193 is a 3-digit number, and we compare it to column 4 in table 4.1. We compare it here 4.1. Thus you compare it in this table. We compare to the the value in column 4.1, it means column 4 is here. The first value is ranging between 0 and 125. So I compare it. I am going to see where 913, in which range it is. It is in the range between the last here. It is in the range between 876 and 1000. So it is in this column here. After that, I take the corresponding arrival time in the column 1, as it is said in the procedure. So it means that, as I saw, it is in column 8. So hence the inter-arrival of the second customer is 8. Let's check. So the inter-arrival time of the second customer is this 8. Okay. So you will continue this the procedure till the end. I can check for the last one here. I can check for the last one. I can check. To check this, I have to take the last one. I go to the value here. I will go to enter arrival. The last one is 302. 302. I'm going to compare it to the table 4.1 here. So 302 is in here. So the corresponding column is 3. So I'm going to check here. So you see the corresponding column is 3 here. Okay, this is okay. So all of the value you have to proceed like this. Then this step is gone. So then check this is the step 3. We perform the above step for all the customers. The above step must be performed to all customers. The result will be shown in the column 2 of the table 3. Okay, as we did. So service time, step 4. The service time for each customer is completed as similar manner. We will compute the service time in the similar manner as we did for inter-arrival time. So it will be the same. And then for every customer, a random number 2 digits list in this example is selected and verified in table 4.2. So what we will do here, we will check again. Service time, we are in this column. Let's use this one. Service time, this is finished. Service time, it is here. So what you have to do, the service time. No, here there is another. This column arrival time in the clock. So this column 3. For the first, arrival time is 0 here for the first person. So we are going to have the accumulation of arrival time in the clock. So I take the first one. The arrival time of the first one is 0 plus the enter arrival between the first customer and the second one is 8. So I take this adding to the enter arrival time from the first person to the second one, I will get 8. And then I take 8 plus 6, the enter arrival time of the third, will be 14. You will continue till 43 plus 3 will be 46, like that. So you have to proceed in the same way for all other values. So okay, we are here in the service time in the column 4. In the column 4, what we are proceeding in the same manner. It means that So we proceed in the same manner. It means that for every customer random number 2 digits in the list we will be selected, and we are going to verify with table 42. Table 42, it means it is a service table. Let's check service table. We are going to have the range or random number for service time is 84. The first one is 84. 84, we are going to check its range in the table 42, service time table here. So we are going to see that 84 is in between 61 and 85. So we will take the service time in the column 1, it is 4. So we are going to put for the first customer is 4. For the last customer, let's check also. It is 3. How we got 3? The last customer is here, and the random number. The last customer is 38. 38. I check in the table 42. I see that 38 is in between here. 31 and 60. So I will take the value 3 here, this one. So that is why you are seeing 3 here. Okay, this is the fourth step. Let's go to the fifth step. The fifth step says the time in the clock when the service begins is treated as 0. The time of the clock when the service begins, it begins at 0. It is understandable. For the first customer, time in the clock when the service begins, it is 0. For the first customer, because the first customer is the first, it means we start at 0. And for other customer, it will be different. It means that we are going to take the column 5. This is the column 5. This one, column 5. It will be equal to what? The service time, it will be equal to the service time will be calculated as this. The sum of column 4 and column 5 values in previous law. So I'm having column 4 and column 5. I add them. If you add them, it means I take service time plus time clock when the service begins. So I take when the service begins, please service time, I will know the time of the beginning of each customer service. So here for the first one is 0. So for the second one, I can take the service time of this this person. What I have to do, it will be the sum of this and this one. But I have also to make a comparison. The sum of column 4 and 5 in the previous row. It means to get the sum, to get the value when the service begins for the second person, I will take the sum of the column 4 and 5 in the previous row, and then take the one which is maximum. So what does it mean? It means that I have to take the maximum of the sum of column 4 and 5 value in the previous row plus value in the and compare both of them with the value in column 3 and take the maximum of them. What does it mean? It means that I have to take the sum when the service begins. When the service begins and the service time, so it means that it is the total time of the service plus the current arrival time of the second person. So if I put this one, I will know when the service will start. So if he came, the value of the arrival of the second customer is greater than the sum of the previous one, I will take the maximum. Why? Because there is a time when the first customer has been served and there has been some gap, so the server was idle sometime. It was idle. So as it was idle, we have to add the idle time, because the second customer, after serving the first customer, the second customer didn't come immediately. He came after some time. It means that the every time of the first customer is 0. Then he was served. He was served in 4 minutes. So he left in 4 minutes. So the server waited the other 4 minutes for the second customer to come. So the service when the service begins, the time when the service with the second customer begins will be equal to the sum of this and this, and you compare it to the level of the second customer and take the maximum. The maximum is 80. So it means that the service will begin when the customer comes. It will be the same. Here I am having the service time of the second customer is 1 minute. I will add with 9, with 8 it will be 9, and you compare the time when the customer arrived. I will see that 14 is bigger, is the maximum, so I take the 14. It is like that. Then in step 6, here we are in step 6, waiting time in a queue will be equal to column 6. It is in column 6, which will be equal to column 5 minus column 3. Let's check. Column waiting time in a queue. It means that the total time a customer will be waiting in a queue. It will be equal to what? To the time he came into the queue, and the total and the time. It means we take the time with the time when he leaves the queue minus the time he arrives into the queue. We know the waiting time, the total time he spent in the queue. So column 6 is waiting time in a queue. This one, waiting time in a queue, and then column 5. Column 5. Column 6 is waiting time in a queue total. So it will be equal column 5. It will be equal the time in the clock when the service begins. This is 5. When it begins, it means it is the time when he left the queue, minus the time he arrived. It means that column 3, arrival time here. So we take the time when the service began for him minus the time he arrived. So we will find the waiting time in a queue. So because this and this is 0, it will be 0 here. Because this the service began after 18 minutes, and then he arrived in 15 minutes, so he was waiting for 3 minutes like that. Then time spent by the customer in the system is time spent by the customer in the system. It is column 7. Column 7 time. It means that time when is the service end. So the time when the service end, it will be column 4 plus column 5. It will be 4 plus 5. 4 plus 5. It is the time, the service time plus no. It will be column 7. It will be column 4 plus 5. 4, it means that service time plus time clock when service begins. It means that I take the time when the service begins plus the time plus the service time. So I will know when the time will end. The time will end. When the time will end will be equal to time when the service began plus the service, the duration of the service. So I will take 4 plus I will take 4 plus 0, it will be 4. 3 plus 18, it will be 21, like this. So time spent by the customer in the system will be equal to colon 7 minus colon 3. Time spent by the customer in the system will be here. It will be 7 when the service, the time when the service ends minus the arrival time. So the time when the service ends for him and minus the time he arrived. So it will be 4 minus 0 is 4, and then you can have 30 minus 26, it will be 4, like this. And then idle time of the server, it will be for the first customer, it is equal 9. It will be the first customer, it is constant, because the time for the first customer is not it must not be constant. But for the second customer, it will be colon 9, it will be equal to value 5 in the current row minus value 7 in previous row. For the second customer, it means the idle time of the server, it will be value of current 5 in the current row minus value of 7. Value of 5 in the current row means what? This means that we will take the time when the service ends minus we'll take the value when the service ended minus for the previous customer, and it will be deducted from when the service began for the current customer. It means that the service began for the first customer. It began for the first customer at the time, at a given time, minus the value when the service ended for the previous customer. So we will know which how many times the server at that time the server was not working, he was idle. So I will take what? I will take the value from the current value for the second customer here. It means that we will take the value when the service began for the first customer minus the time when the service ended for the previous customer. So I will take 8 minus 4. So I will take, it means that, so I will take this 8 minus 4, I will get 4 here. I can check also for the last one. For the last one, the time when the service begins for the first, this person, 10th person, it began at 50. I am going to reduce the time when the service ended for the last customer, the previous customer, so it will be 0. So it will be written here. After getting all values, So after writing all values, I have to make accumulation or the sum of the column. I add this one. I get this for idle time of the total idle time of the server, because this has been asked, and the total time spent by customer in the system for all customer, and this one, and this one, and this one. This is what we call a simulation, mathematical model using simulation. We simulate our queuing system for when we have one server giving services to many customers. So once the simulation table, this is the simulation table, this one. So once the simulation table is formulated, we need to compute the performance measure for the waiting line model. We are going to check the performance of this line model and check if this waiting model, this line waiting line model is efficient or not. So we are going to calculate the average waiting time. The average waiting time for all customers. We can calculate it using the formula. It means that average waiting time, it will be equal to total time spent by customer in the queue. This is the average waiting time will be calculated using total time spent by customer in the queue divided by total number of customers. This will be average. Average, it means you take the total waiting time of customer divided by the total number of customers we are having. So here we are going to see the total time spent by customer in the queue, total time of customers spent in the system. It is 9. It means waiting time in the queue total, it is 9 here. It is 9 here. So we divided the number of customers, we are having 10 customers here. So we have 0.9 minutes. So the total waiting time for the customer, it is 1 minute, almost 1 minute. So it is good. It is very small. So the probability that the customer has to wait in a queue, it will be the number of customers who wait out of the total of the customer. So it means that the probability that the customer has to wait in a queue, it means we will have to check if it will be low or high. We take the total number of customers who wait. The total number of customers who wait, we check from here. This is 1 customer, 2 customer, and 3 customer. Others, they did not wait. So it means that we take the total number, which is 3, divided by our customer. We find that the probability is 0.3. It is okay. So the probability of idle server, we have total idle server of server divided by total run of simulation. Here we are going to take the total idle time of the server, we divided by the total run of the simulation. Immediately we know the probability for idle server. Because the total simulation time, it will show the status of the server for the overall simulation time. So we take the time of the server has been idle to the total simulation time. We will know the probability. So we take 18 probability for idle server. We take 18 here, which has been idle. Divide by the total of simulation time. The total simulation time is here. The service ended after 53 minutes for 10 customers. So that is why we are going to take this. We take 18 out of 53. we will see that it is almost 0.3. It is okay, it is not waiting so long, but according to the management, this will be high. 34% of the server will be idle. It is not very good. So that is, the server is busy about 66 of the time. It is busy. It has been serving, or he has been serving customers 66 out of percent of the time. Okay, it is almost okay, but it should, if it is in the case of your grocery, you should reduce this event. Then the average service time will be equal to total service time divided by total number of customers. The average, we will take the total service time for 10 customers and divide for the number, or the total number of customers. We find that the total service time is 35. We divide by 10. We find that it is 3.5. It means that we take service time is 35 here. So that is why you have to divide by 10 the number of customers. So this result, as we use this result, we are using we are observing using our eyes, but we can also use, it is out of simulation. You can use a simulation. So the result we got can be found using the simulation. It means that the expected service time can be computed by multiplying column 1 and 2, column 1 and 2 in each row of table 4.2, and adding all those value. For example here I have a table 4.2. This is service time. I take the value of the first column, I multiply the value for the second column. After multiplying them, I take the service time in minutes and then multiply by the probability, and then the result will be added to the result of the second row till we get the last service time. So we get the same results. It means that we take 1, multiply by 0.1, and so on till the last one. So we get the same result here, 3.5. So the average internal arrival time, will be the sum of internal arrival time divided by the number of arrivals minus 1. So internal arrival, the sum of internal arrival time is 46. But for the first customer is 0. So the first customer must be left. So we don't we exclude the first customer because the arrival rate of the first customer is 0. So he is not included. That is why we take the sum of arrival time, which is 46. We divide the number of arrivals. It means 10 customer minus 1, it is 9. So we see that the interval between two customers, the average is in 5.11 minutes. So the average waiting time for those who wait, we see that the average, the total time spent by customer in the queue, total time of spend of customer in the queue is 9, divided by the number who waits. It means I'm having 1, 2, and 3. So I take 9 divided by 3, I find 3. So the average waiting time for those who wait, it is 3 only. So the average time spent by customer in the system, we take the total time spent by customers in the system, we divide by the total number of customer. So the total time spent by the customer in the system is 44. We divide by the total number of the customer, which is then we find 4.4 minutes. So we can calculate this using this formula, or we can calculate using the second formula. Can have the average time spent by the customer in the system. You can take the average waiting time plus service time. Both of them, if we add them, we find the average time spent by the customer. So you get 0.9. It means that the average waiting time. The average waiting time we got 0.9, and then average waiting time. It means the total number spent, average waiting time, it is 0.9, and we add the total service time. We saw that it is 3.5, so total will be 4.4. so it is the same minutes. Okay, so dear students, till now we saw about how we can simulate a single server simulation model, queuing model. So you can simulate, for example, if as a professional you can approach a customer who is going to who wants to check if the system he is going to implement will provide good services to customers. So you have to study the system like this. After studying this, you simulate it, and you will check according to the results found. Say that if you implement such a system using this type of services, it won't work. So he will change his plans so that the customer will be satisfied. So next time we will see another example about inventory system, how to simulate an inventory system. This is very good also. It is almost the same as the previous one, but with some differences, but it is very easy. Okay, so you read it very carefully, and good luck.